It's fine. And raise your right arm towards the ceiling. Put it down. You raise your right arm towards the ceiling. Put it down. Raise your right arm towards the ceiling. Promise it's the last time. Put it down. When you raised your right arm towards the ceiling, where did your weight shift on your pelvis? Oh, no. Put your arm down. That's what you call an ambush. Yeah? Someone asks you to do something, and then they ask you a question that's what seems to be unrelated to the task. That's called an ambush. They're waiting. I'm going to get you. So what you have to remember, every awareness through movement lesson is about finding out how you do something from the first instruction right through to the last. So really there is no ambush. Once you've entered into this cultural space, into this social space, into this learning space, that is the assumption all the time. Someone asks you, could you please turn your head to the right? You go, okay, but I'm going to pay attention to what I'm about to do because I don't want to be ambushed. Yeah? So that is the game. That's the nature of the game here. And so you know you'll never be ambushed because once you're in this room, you know that's what we're doing. Yeah. Hello. No need to sneak. Just come on in. It's fine. And if you know that that's the game, then there's a particular way that you use your attention. And that way is raising the arm was like, okay, that's the intention. But what is everything else that is supporting that intention? So you have part of your attention here, and then you quickly switch to something else, and then you quickly switch to something else, and you quickly switch to something else. So really switching your attention, it's not just single focused attention on what the arm is doing. If that was the case, that would be a different game and you'd be in a different room in this building. Yeah, so that's the name of the game. Ah, that is my intention. How is that intention supported? And it could be supported in a lot of different ways. That's the variety of lessons that you encounter. Yeah, but that's the name of the game. So whatever you do, use your attention to, aha, here's the intention, but then what else is going on? So you shift, 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 shift. Do you remember that old, I don't know if it's still old, I don't see it in magazines anymore. Do you remember that game where there used to be a series of dots on a little square, and you had to take the pencil and then join the dots from 1 to 10 to 50 or whatever, and as you joined the dots, an image would appear? Well, this is kind of the same, because our attention is pretty specific, and so you literally have to mentally join the dots to relate what is happening through you to pick up the pattern. And then you join the dots, you create the pattern, you go, ah, that's how it works. So it's a join the dots game. Just before we start the lesson, I'll tell you one quick story. My partner and I used to live in Petersham, which is a suburb, inner west suburb of Sydney. And every now and then I saw this guy walking along the street. And he was an elderly guy. He must have been 65, 70 easy. He had a walking stick, but not a blind walking stick, just a one. And he'd shuffle along like this. He'd go, and then he'd stop. And then he'd go, I'm thinking, what is this guy doing? I was too embarrassed to come up to ask him. But the locals all knew him. He said, oh, that guy, he has a really severe case of macular degeneration. So he couldn't pick up any. He just saw blur. So he had to construct a scene. Shift his eye over there, see a little bit of blur there. Shift his eye over there, see a little bit of blur there. So he was walking a little bit, and with each set of shuffles, he'd stop and he'd recreate what was coming up next because he couldn't see. His eyes couldn't do what your eyes and my eyes can do, which is to rapidly shift that really sharp focus point and construct a whole scene very quickly. He couldn't do that anymore. So he was moving himself in a very particular way to be able to get on with his life. Yeah. Please lie on your back.